Collections. Prints and engravings. This unit contains pictorial works printed in multiple copies with various techniques, like wood, stone, copper, zinc engraving, and more recent ones in contemporary printing or digital techniques. In terms of numbers, this is the biggest collection of the museum. According to their technique, their publication date, their artistic value and the aim their publication served, they are divided to the following collections. Collections. Prints and engravings. Engravings. The engravings collection of the National Historical Museum is composed of portraits and compositions by academic artists, prepared in copper, stone, and more sparsely wood, and zinc engraving. It contains in total 9,000 works of the European and Greek engraving arts from the 16th up to the 20th century. Thematically, the collection concentrates on Greek geographic areas and it forms an important archival unit for historic and pictorial information spanning the periods of Latin and Turkish rule, up to the foundation of the modern Greek state. The collection was initially formed by donations and endowments, while gradually it was enriched with important targeted purchases, covering all the thematic units. Our aim is to document the material in detail and to promote the best possible use of it by researchers. The collection's richness makes it a primary source for the exhibition programs of the museum, for study and presentation by the museum personnel and scientific editions, and for cooperation with other research institutes in Greece and abroad. The collection items have been catalogued according to thematic and historic units. We distinguish religious subject matters, maps and depictions of fortresses from the period of Latin rule in Greece, late Middle Ages, early modern times, landscapes and depictions of monuments, as well as scenes of everyday life in the Ottoman period. Also, portraits of important Enlightenment figures, depiction of important events from the Greek War of Independence, and portraits of its Greek and Philhellene protagonists. An important portion of engravings covers the period of Greek independence, rule of Kings Otto and George I, mainly through portraits of important political and other figures of the 19th century. The units forming the collection are paper religious icons, interesting category derived from Orthodox iconography. Printed icons made by experienced engravers from the 17th up to the 19th centuries and were circulated in the Ottoman Empire's Orthodox people as well as in Greek communities of the diaspora. Mainly images of saints, religious scenes and depiction of monasteries. Landscapes, ethnographic compositions. The collection contains in-folio engravings as well as monumental albums prepared by European travelers and antiquity seekers, who visited Greek areas within the Ottoman Empire or were inspired by Greek history. Views of landscapes and monuments, everyday life scenes, characteristic social types and dress distinctions and other ethnographic subjects. Historic subject matters, Ottoman period engravings depicting mainly war events from the frequent Greek revolts, which despite their usually unfortunate conclusion, conveyed a constant struggle against oppression. Philhellenic engravings illustrating the Greek War of Independence of 1821 form a particular entity among these. These are frequently copies from works of important European painters, printed by European engravers and Philhellens in order to be widely distributed, to enhance public awareness for the Greek question, and to provide moral and financial support to the fighting Greeks. The independence period after 1828 is more sparsely illustrated, despite the importance of specific historical compositions. Portraits, unit containing portraits of scholars and of Greek Enlightenment figures, who worked for intellectual revival and the formation of a Greek national consciousness, and who gradually led to the Greek War of Independence. Also, portraits of Greek freedom fighters of 1821, whose facial characteristics have been bequeathed to us mainly through these images. An important number of engravings portrays politicians and members of the royal families after independence. A small but evocative part of the collection is on permanent display at the museum. The biggest part has already been digitally recorded, simplifying its availability to researchers. Many units have been published in a variety of editions and exhibition catalogs.